Tom Brady has some advice to give Shedeur. He has some very interesting things to say. And Tom Brady goes in on Skip Bayless and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show interview with Boogie Knight, who does all the footage for Shedeur. Let's talk about it on the Going Strong podcast and the Browns Football Talk with me, Reese Wheel, next. Appreciate y'all joining me again. Got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Welcome in. I'll do the intro so you guys can have a chance to get in since we live. Wanted to show this interview that Boogie had on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I know it well because it's in Cleveland and it's a good show. Some of you guys might want to watch it if you want to watch some Cleveland sports. This has G. Bush, Adam the Bull, and Tavis on it, and they have some other people they interview on there. So it's a good show. But they happened to interview Boogie Knight yesterday, the guy that does all the footage for Shedeur, and they talked about the interview, the process that they did with the Giants and the NFL, some of the NFL teams. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting for you guys to hear it. Let me bring that up.
Giants and those teams, man, they've been in Boulder more than anybody. They've been there so views. I would say it wasn't the lack of professionalism or being unprepared. He's never been unprepared. I think it was more so of a young kid getting comfortable and building a relationship with someone and probably trusting them a little too much and going into a room with his guard down, not understand like, man, it's a job interview still, and they trying to pick you apart. Because you got to think the Giants and those teams, man, they've been in Boulder more than anybody. They've been there so much that almost to the point where he feel like, man, oh, we good. They have certain conversations off camera.
That's
like,
a good point.
Man, it's
right.
So now when I go in that room, it's these my people.
Yeah,
we good.
I never thought about it that. I never like if I'm like that's not the first time they ever met. Now I'm going back and forth. They've been there 2 years since I was junior.
Yeah.
We done talked, laughed, and joked about stuff.
You told me I'm your guy.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like, but like you said, that's how it is in interviews. You got to remember at all times they tested you and people's watching. So I never considered that, but I can see where that could go wrong a little bit.
And then you got some of the other interviews where he wasn't as close with some of the guys. You don't get those reports because he's going to those with a different mindset of, okay, I gotta act a certain, talk a certain way because I don't know them as well.
Yeah. So let me ask.
So y'all see that? I get what he's saying, that he coming into an interview and these guys have been visiting him for 2 years, like basically. So you know these guys. So then you go into an interview with them and everything's serious, and you like, these guys when they come to see you up at Boulder, everything's cool. We having a good time. Hey, how you doing, Shedeur? Coming to see you and stuff, and you he hanging around the team and everything's cool. But then when you go to the Giants, go to the interview, things get serious, and he put his guard down. Maybe. So I could see how that could happen. And he didn't, he had to understand that this was, these guys, I guess that's, they're different there. So you have to make sure you put your best foot forward and treat it as such. So young guy figuring it out. But I'm glad he came on and explained a lot of things. So that's a good interview. You guys want to check that out. Again, it's an Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I want to give them their credit, for getting that interview with Boogie, because they come into Cleveland and they doing some good things. And a lot of people want to understand some things. I understand what's going on, but some other people may not understand what's going on as far as like why they got the cameras and this, that, and other. So they doing a very good job about putting it out there about who he is and what he about. And then it's not to be alarmed about anything, but this is just how he is, and he's been like this since he was a kid. And the interview goes in intense as far as like how deep he goes. And he said, and you notice that the other interviews they did with the other teams, you didn't hear none of that, because he went in there as such. He didn't know them. It wasn't like, basically like it's, what I'm saying? It's like somebody you see all the time. Like, use a perfect example. When we went down, like I said, I mentioned this sometimes. Me and my son, he just came out of the portal. We went visiting colleges, so we met the college people, the coaches, the D-line coach, the head coaches, all these colleges. You don't know them in the beginning, but then you spend 2-3 days. We 2-3 days there visiting. Then by the end of the visit, everything's cool. You slapping, I mean, everything, everything is better because we already know them. We kind of feel like we know them, but you really don't. And that, so that's kind of the mindset I get. I understand where he came from with that. But yeah, I wanted to move on to this. Like I said, the title says Tom Brady has some advice for Shedeur, and I wanted to bring that up.
Elephant in the room, Shedeur Sanders. What happened, Tom? Why did he go so late in the draft?
I mean, it's a good question.
Oh man, kind of stuttering now. I wanted to bring this. I forgot to say about Skip Bayless had said something about what Tom had said. Let me put that up real quick before I play that. He was stuttering pretty good on that. He was trying to figure out what he was gonna say. Now that's this show here. This was man, I forgot that was Jake Paul. It's called the Impulsive Podcast with Jake Paul and his brother, I think. So he was on there this past week, I think. And like I said, this is Skip. This is what Skip has said during the draft while Sanders was in the midst of an epic draft slide, taking heed. Skip Bayless was one of the many pundits who were beside themselves as young signal caller continued to fall. That led to Bayless firing off tweets suggesting that it was Raiders minority owner Tom Brady who did not want Sanders. And it's now pretty clear Tom Brady, who mentored Shedeur, told the Raiders not to take Shedeur. Duly noted, Bayless wrote on X during the draft, how could Tom Brady Brady's team passed on Shedeur Sanders again and again and again? Question mark. Bayless asked in another tweet. Brady reportedly coached Shedeur. Brady reportedly was involved in Raiders draft. How could Tom Brady, Brady's team, pass on Shedeur Sanders again and again and again? So, reason why I bring this up is because after I play this, you're gonna hear Tom go at skip a little bit. So let me bring that back up. So you're gonna ask him the question again real quick.
What happened, Tom? Why did he go so late in the draft?
I mean, it's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or
Skip Bayless says otherwise.
No. Well, everyone's got that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want and get away with it.
Crazy.
It's kind of unfortunate because there actually used to be a lot of integrity in media, and there's way less now because everyone needs crazy voices to get heard, and it actually probably hurts a lot of relationships, which is not the goal of broadcasting. It should be to develop and cultivate and solve problems, and rather than the critiques, I want people to offer solutions all the time. So nobody knows, and I actually texted Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it. So everyone makes, like I remember like when they were talking about Aaron Rodgers sliding. And Aaron slid to like 21 in the first round or whatever it was. I'm like, dude, you're the 21st pick in the first round. I think they still think you're pretty good. Like you're still a great player. You're a first round pick in the NFL. There's only 32 of those guys every year. So use it as motivation. Like wherever you end up going, you still have it's about your performance. Like what do you do when you get there? Because you're going to get there. I was around some of the best players were undrafted free agents. They were Rodney Harrison. Like Rodney Harrison wasn't a high pick. Like Julian Edelman wasn't a high pick. Wes Welker wasn't a high pick. Danny Amendola. All those guys were phenomenal players. So what's it matter? Like other than some overhyped day where a lot of people are selling stories and.
See, I thought that was some great advice. First talking about that Skip Bayless, that was hilarious. Him going in on Skip, and the thing about it with these guys, Skip is his number one fan. This is so hilarious because Skip has always been his number one fan. Going against Shannon, Skip nearly lost his job. Skip going in on Shannon for talking about Brady and riding with Brady, and Brady he say one thing against Brady and Brady goes in on him. That's crazy, man. And I don't really when people like stars and stuff, I really don't go in and go to bat for them like that deep, that hard, because a lot of them guys don't give a crap about you for real. Like they don't. Like even with LeBron and Windhurst been in his corner big time. And as soon as LeBron went on that interview with Pat McAfee, he blasted Windhurst. And Windhurst is always just like roll for him. And that's funny how these stars, these ball players, and they don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap. So, the main thing is just like Skip is getting a taste of his own medicine right here. And but as far as what Tom said with as far as with Shedeur, man, that advice was gold, man. I know he was stuttering a little bit at the beginning, so I don't know what the deal was. He's the minority owner of the Raiders, and I think he owned like 40% or something. But for him to say he didn't have any say so with the as far as like drafting, I don't believe that. That's definitely not believable. And for you to come into my organization like the Raiders and you Tom Brady and you don't got no say so on what's going on. Come on now. I don't believe that. Now you can tell anybody something on that one. Like for real, like tell somebody who gonna believe that crap. But as far as the advice that he gave me for quarterback to quarterback and saying, look, he gave some great examples. He was the 199th pick or whatever it was. And no, he was further than that, I think. Yeah, maybe that what it was, but I think that's what he said. And he said, look, he had a ton of guys around him. I think he said Julian Edelman, he had Rodney Harrison, I mean Wes Welker. He had a ton of people that like wasn't big names, free agents, wasn't drafted high, undrafted free agents, and really basically in him saying that the day you get drafted is the day that you start. It don't matter from there, and use it as motivation. And definitely, that's what I'm saying. As far as if I was to talk to Shedeur, use it as motivation, and and all this other crap don't matter, man. We do this stuff with the YouTube, and we doing content and stuff. But in the real world, man, it don't matter. This stuff don't matter. Like you go in there and it's about you doing what you do. That's for real. Like that you go in there and ball out, and that's all it's about. Um, but I thought that was interesting the way he broke that down, and I wanted to go to some comments. Shedeur, he says, Shedeur has a good head on his shoulders. Oh yeah, he does, man. Major. You can tell the dad really prepped him well. Um, and he hell of a head on his shoulders. Um, says, she said, I wish you do the best. Yes. ATL in the house. Salute. Shout out to you, ATL. All right, my man. 414. Salute. Shout out to you, man. Um, Boogie's perspective hopefully gives Browns fans balance in regards to Shedeur's character. That's what I said, man. Like that is like I said, it's the ultimate sports Cleveland sports show, and the brother on there, G. Bush, he runs a show called a barber shop. You feel me? So he really he was trying to get on the radio, but they kind of wouldn't let him on the radio. Like they only let him come on the weekends. So then he went on and went with some guys. There's about 5 or 6 guys on that show, and they all, but he would do the weekends on Saturday, and it was called the barbershop. So a lot of us would, just go on in and talk, but he still got that show. It's called the barbershop. So I'm giving the shout out, but great content, man. And somebody, if you want to listen to more Cleveland stuff, for sure. But Boogie's perspective, that's what I think was great, man, for them to get him on there and for the people to understand. I think that's going to help a lot, relieve some of these folks that don't really understand what's going on or don't want to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Brady trying to save face. Dexter said Brady salute Dexter. You said he tried to save face. Yeah, he was stuttering pretty good on that first, man. He for a guy that probably has been talking for 30 years in front of cameras, he was kind of stuttering on that one. So you get body language. Let's see what he said. I don't like Skip Bayless, and I believe him. I know, man. Skip is a character, man. I didn't even. He trying to stay relevant though, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is a little heyday for Skip. He's getting out here for a week or two, trying to stay relevant. Because I hadn't even paid no attention to Skip until I, kind of seen what as far as Brady and this coming across the airwaves and these YouTube streets. So no, but for real, Yeah, but yeah, that's what as far as like Browns news, like look for the Browns to basically pick up a safety. Right now they have two safeties, and they got Ronnie Hillman and Grant Delpit, and they just lost Juan Thornhill to the Steelers. So look for the Browns to pick up a safety because Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, man, he uh he loves safeties, and he loves for him a ball hawk safeties. So that's one thing to look for. And then if I was to look for another position that the Browns might try to fill is offensive tackle, because right now we got DeJuan Jones, mammoth of a man. He like 6'9", Tevin Jenkins, Cornelius, and Conklin. Now, health has always been a problem with Conklin, so look for them to try to uh, shore up that offensive line. But we do got a good offensive line, so that's one good thing. And far as like nobody want to talk about it, but the kicker was kind of bad last year. He had a good year, then he had a kind of bad year. So they trying to see what they're gonna do as far as if they're gonna bring somebody in. But definitely, um, that's something that we you want to definitely pay attention to as you know uh, you know start paying attention to the Browns. So you guys, um, you know, we I got a lot of stuff, man. I know a lot about the Browns. I've been watching the Browns, man, since I was a, a youngster. So bring all kind of content as far as the Browns is concerned. Now, go Bucks! What's up? What's up, go Bucks? Skip has been on Brady's side forever. I believe him. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Yep, I believe him too. He's been on Brady's side forever, man. I mean, come on now. That's it. He and and come on now. We know what's really up, man. You can't uh you can't tell me that you Tom Brady and you you sit there and you buy or get 40% of the Raiders organization, and you can't tell me that Tom Brady don't got no say so in the draft, or at least input on saying something. And somebody made a big deal about what he said at the end. I think he said something at the end about getting stronger, or let me see. Let me bring that back up, because it was something I may have not played the whole thing. Let me bring that back up, because it was something at the end that he said, and I wanted to be clear on that.
Right, this is the big day, and this is the draft, and it's an important day, and it's fun, and I love, watching it and seeing it. But like, I've also been there on day two, and they got to show up and actually learn a playbook, be a part of a locker room, and there's a lot of growth that needs to happen.
There's a lot of growth that needs to happen. So somebody tried to pick. I forget who I was listening to or paying attention. They tried to pick. There's a lot of growth that needs to happen as far as was he talking about Shedeur, or people dig into stuff. So I don't really think, I don't know if that means nothing or not. Maybe it does, but every player, the first Cam Ward, the first pick, he got a lot of growth, man. You going to grown man territory now. It's not no kiddie stuff, man. It's not no NCAA, where like maybe it's two or three, guys on the team that maybe can even try to make a roster, unless you got a powerhouse like the Buckeyes or something. But if a regular, uh, you know, quality team, man, you these are grown men out here, man. You better get your stuff together, because this is a different world now. You know what I'm saying? This is different. So that's everybody gonna need help. Everybody gonna need something to strap on to when you get to the NFL. I don't care who you is. All the greats, even like Jackson, all the quarterbacks, man, they get up there. Peyton Manning when he came out, like Tom Brady, all of them. You gotta. It's an adjustment period, because This is the NFL, man. These are grown men. Like, you 24, 23 years old. These men got kids, man. Like, kids, kids that's in high school. They got some of them beards, and these are grown men. You're gonna have to, handle and lead, and gonna have to have trust. They're gonna have to trust in you. So, but like I say, I love what y'all said. His nickname is Grown, so I love that. Let's bring on another 414 says, what people need to realize is that Shedeur's success will help the Browns. If he balls out, then he can keep on or trade him, but they need his value to be as high as possible. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? They need his value to be, they not going to, they shouldn't try to tear him down, because like you said, what if both of them come out preseason and lighten it up, and then another team be like, you know what? Because they wouldn't dare put him on the practice squad. You know what's up with that. He gets swooped up so fast. Pickett, he's the one out. You can forget it. He's out. Flacco's gonna be the to me the one that's gonna be in here to kind of teach everybody because Flacco's a good teacher, and it's gonna be a battle between the two young guys. And I mean, I think that maybe that the Browns probably their plans had changed after the draft, and so I believe maybe that's what happened. And because before the draft they got Flacco, and then once the draft happened, everything's kind of changed. So I don't know if the plan is still with Flacco, or is the plan with Pickett, or to get rid of Pickett. But I would get rid of Pickett and have Flacco mentor the two young bucks. You got to see what you got. You got to. You can't, it's a double-edged sword, because if you don't look like you're trying to win, the veterans is not going to like that on the team. And then you got to see what you got, because next year, you got to figure out what you're going to do with them picks, because they probably not going to be that good. So they're going to have a high pick. And then you got that pick from, Jacksonville. So it's going to be interesting, man, to see how this all break down. But hey, I like I said, it's the gift that keeps on giving around here. Powerful advice may ask, Brady as a punk. Brady was not as good as Shedeur, so him being 199 is not the same as Shedeur being 144. Tom Brady. Power, my ass. Okay. Vila said, well, I thought it was some good advice from as far as like telling somebody that, when you name about 5 guys that he could be down on himself, and I'm not saying that he is, but you got about 5 guys he named that's damn near was Pro Bowlers, wasn't even drafted. And Shedeur, we a young guy, he might be like, damn, man, these motherfuckers, they don't really think nothing about me like this. So what do I do? And you break it down. If he said this to him, I don't know if he said this to him. You got Wes Welker, Rodney Harrison, Julian Edelman. The list go on and on for all the players that got Super Bowl rings and got, that balled out. And it's hard to argue with that. Like, that's a team full of no names, like literally. And they was winning Super Bowl. So, like, to tell somebody that, I think that was good advice. But, I don't know. Some people, may not, like that. Go Bucks. 414, I agree with the younger players love social media and what Shedeur represents. I believe players will try to get to Cleveland. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, good stuff. Jay at 4. Powerful stuff, y'all. Powerful stuff. Well, appreciate y'all, man, joining me again, man. I'm keep on rocking this boat, man. Keep on trying to bring this stuff out, man. And I may come back on today if something come about. Appreciate y'all, man. And see y'all on the next video. We out.